Hey guys, welcome to Bedroom Producing. I'm going to be going through a track that I made recently. I'm going to be breaking it down and hopefully giving y'all some tips, giving y'all some pointers, and just figuring it out. Let's do it. Alright, first thing I laid down was this pluck from Spire. Sounds like this. Super fun, super bouncy. It's got a little bit of distortion on it. It's a really cool pluck. So I've been trying out this thing called the ABAC method lately, and it's where you take each pattern and give it a letter name. So the first bar is pattern A, and then we make a pattern B with a slight change, and then we repeat pattern A, and then we make another pattern and call that pattern C. That's different from A and B. So my third bar is obviously the same as pattern 1. Same pattern. And then my fourth bar is different from B and A. So it just breaks things up a little bit, makes things less repetitive, and makes things a little bit more interesting. Alright, so the second thing that I added was this little synth that is super spaced out in the beat. It plays only in the first and third bars. But it gives a lot of, it just gives like an extra little detail to the beat. I didn't want to draw too much attention away from the main melody, from the pluck. So this was a good compromise. Let me play it for you. You'll see what I mean. And that's all that does. It plays on the first and third bar and repeats. Alright, here's the third thing that I added. This is also playing on the first and third bar, but this sound is a little bit more interesting, kind of catches your ear. It's like a bellish kind of sound. And I think both of those just add to the atmosphere of the beat, and they kind of give it a more, they just give it a more polished sound. It's not overcrowded. They're super spaced out. It just gives it that extra bit of detail. Because I don't have like a second melody playing or anything like that. It would be too overcrowded in my opinion. This is what the melodies sound like all together. Alright, so let's move on to the drums. Everybody's favorite part. Nothing crazy. I got a few different things going on, but let me play them all together for you, and then I'll break them down bit by bit. Alright, so let's jump into it. Alright, for my 808, this is what we got for the 808. Alright, so what I like to do is I don't like to overcrowd it. And like I said, I've been trying to make things less repetitive. So you can see like first bar, second bar, third bar, everything's pretty simple. Then we add a little flair to it. We raise that note up a little bit. Then we go down. And then we get into the fifth bar, and we're basically repeating the first. all we're doing really is adding this little extra turnaround kind of thing at the end. Just makes it feel like it's a bit longer than 4 bars. Makes it feel like an 8-bar loop because we added that little detail in. And that's the whole goal. Just to make it sound more interesting, less repetitive. So I've got the basic snare pattern just on every third beat, and then I've got this other snare that is kind of accenting that first one. We got some open hats. Boom. We got our hi-hats. The hi-hat pattern is also super simple. Just a little roll here and there. I added them, obviously I kind of felt out where I felt like the beat needed the rolls. I didn't just like add them sporadically, but I kept it pretty simple. Added a little space right there because there's an open hat that hits, gives it space. Then there's those little, just a few little rolls. Nothing crazy. Got our kick going. And it's just recently that I started actually putting kicks into beats. I used to just put 808s and call it a day. But if you can use the kick right and you sidechain it, it makes it sound really good. It's a good little punch at the start. And you can hear it on phones and stuff a lot better. It's just overall, to me, a better idea to add a kick. Obviously, some beats don't need it. Just context kind of thing. And then here's with the 808. And we had this little snare turnaround as well. And we got this little snare turnaround. So yeah, that's the drums. Let's see. Oh yeah. This is what everything sounds like all together. Alright, so alright, let's get into some of the mixing that I did on this beat. I basically speed run the mixing every time, but there are a few essential things to really make a beat sound good to me. Alright, so let's start with our melodies, and let's start with the pluck. So this is what it sounds like without any effects. A little bit chunky. It sounds it's a little bit deep. It's got a lot of low frequency in it to me. What I started with was an LFO tool, and this thing is super cool. It's an LFO. So all it does is it changes a certain thing. So I have it doing volume. You can do panning. You can do all kinds of stuff on it. Right now I just have it doing volume though. And it changes it depending on what shape you put in. And it sounds like this. You can kind of see what it's doing on the screen on the plugin. Yeah. Then EQ on it, and I'm just cutting out a bunch of that low end because it just sounds really, really low without it. Let's see. Like from that to that. It has a lot more room for the bass. A lot more. And then I also have a gross beat, and we're gonna save this for later because it's more like an arrangement thing that I did with it. But yeah, let's move on. All right, so this is one of those spacey synths, and all I did to this was put a delay on it. I have it on stereo, but I probably would have put it on ping pong if I had realized, but I guess I just forgot. Doesn't matter. Still sounds good. And then I have this EQ, again, cutting out a bunch of the lows. You got to cut the lows out with trap music and like hip hop and really bass heavy music. You got to get rid of a lot of those lows. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have any. It's just better to have less in your melodies. You want to make room for that 808 and that kick, dude. We got to make a lot of room for it. And then this last sound is a bell. And I had to cut out this specific frequency for a reason. Watch this. It sounds very strange without it being cut out. It rings. It rings like a real bell, which is cool, but not for this song. So I cut out that frequency that was ringing. Alright, then I have everything routed into this last bus. And what this has is an EQ on it. And this is where I'm like really cutting out those lows for the bass. So I got it kind of just cutting out a lot of the lows. I always put all my synths through one of these like buses, just to get rid of everything, make room for the bass. It's really important. It's something I didn't learn until later on. Then I've got a Digitalis. It's not really doing much, but it's got this preset called YouTube 2 MP3, and everything, all the synths are just going through there. It's not doing much though. Let's see. This is what it sounds like without me cutting out all the lows. It's a little bit too much low end frequencies. They muddy up the bass. This in particular, though, I did cut out a bunch of the low end previously, so it has a bigger difference in different beats, but still, you want to get that in there. And then this Digitalis, just kind of adding some like lo-fi like movement to it. Alright, that's it for the melodies, the synths. Let's move to the drums, what I did mixing on the drums. Alright. So, one important thing that I've got going on here is the kick and the 808 are sidechained. The 808 in particular is sidechained. And I have a kickstart 2 on it. And I'm kind of cheating. Yes. I really need to learn conventional sidechaining because it's just important. Like, you use a compressor to do all that junk, but this thing is fast and it sounds good, so I use that. But if you don't have this, you can definitely use a compressor. That's with the kickstart on, and you see it's like ducking the beginning of that 808. It's like so that kick has room to punch through. That's what the whole point of the sidechain is. And this thing makes it really easy. Like, I love this plugin. It makes it really easy. Before it was a difficult process and I didn't want to do it ever. But let's listen without the sidechain. See how it's they're overlapping each other. They're clashing. That's what a lot of people will say. And yeah, they are. They're on top of each other. They're sharing the same frequencies and they're messing each other up. Put a kickstart on there, right, a sidechain. Just immediately better. It clears up a lot of the space for that kick to punch through. It's really nice. What I always do every single time, and this is probably a no-no, but I do it. I make everything clip because it sounds better, makes it louder. I'm making hip-hop, I'm making trap. I need it to be loud. I put a soft clipper on here, and it just clips. Makes things louder. You've seen a million producers do it, and I do it too. I put that, and then I put a fruity stereo enhancer. Now, I don't really see many people do that, but all I'm doing is boosting the hell out of the entire track. This little volume knob right here, you just push it to 100. Sometimes I even add 2 of these. It's kind of dumb, but it makes the song louder. You're going to clip the hell out of the song, but the song is louder in the end. And I mean, that's just how I do it. All right, let's get into the arrangement now. It's got the kick playing, got the melody, the main melody playing. Got my tag coming in.
Do you guys know what hubris is?
Alright, so if you notice, there's this little gross beat here doing something. And it's affecting the main melody. Alright, let me solo this again. And what I've got it doing is just doing this little preset that makes this little repeat. And I did that to add a bit less repetition to the end and make it more like a turnaround at the end of the loop, at the end of the 8 bars. So that's what that's there for. Yeah. Let's get back into the beat. Alright, another extra little detail that I've got going on is this little like drop thing, this little snare roll at the end. So what I did was I just added some snares to kind of complement everything else, and I added an 808 to make it sound like a significant drop, to make it kind of sound like this is the end of a segment, an end of a 16-bar loop. Let's listen to that. So I just added that 808 and those extra snares just to give it to some significance. Signify that it's going into a different part of the song. So everything's a little bit more calm because there's no kick, no bass. Bring the kick in. Change the melody a little bit. So I dropped everything, and I gave the little drop part space to breathe. Everything else is pretty much the same. I do this for 16 more bars, and then I do there are things that I could have done to this ending part of this beat to make it more interesting, to make it less repetitive. But I'm pretty happy with the beat, with the way it came out, with what I did. So yeah, that's the whole song, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Sub for more stuff like this. I make beats every day. I try to post every day. Yeah, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.